Hi everybody, thanks a lot for joining me for today's daily review. The product I'm talking about today is a very subtle part of my look. For example, if you look at my face from this distance away from the camera, you might not even really pick up on it. But as I get closer, I think you can see that it's all about this little liner that I've got going on here. I use the Revlon Colorstay Skinny Liquid Liner, and it really does have probably the finest tip that I've seen from a liquid liner. I have it in the shade Green Spark. This also comes in a classic black, kind of a bronzy shade, and I also saw a really true blue color in the selection that I saw at the store. But it has a tip that is just 1/10 of a millimeter, so teeny tiny tip. It does claim to have all day wear. I think that will depend on how much you plan to put it through. While it says it won't smudge, fade, or transfer, you got to keep in mind this is still not a waterproof product. This comes off very easily when any amount of moisture touches it. One of the really high points of this product is the fact that the tip is just so tiny. And when I was first looking at this, I was wondering, is that a little brush tip? It definitely is just a felt tip, which I'm kind of glad to see, because in some cases with certain liquid liners, all the brush hairs don't always hang together just perfectly. And if we're going for a liner that is this super fine, that might be an added problem. So I'm glad it's just, kind of one solid piece, but it is still very flexible. You're going to notice, this can really get into the little crevices around your lashes. It's just super precise. As one who's fairly comfortable with applying liquid liners, I thought this was just as easy to apply as anything else. I did find myself having to go back into the product more frequently than with a standard liquid eyeliner, just because it's so skinny. It's not going to hold that much product. So it may have been a little more time consuming for me in that sense, but as far as just gliding it across my lash line, that was pretty easy. And you can thicken up the line somewhat if you want to. I probably made my line just a little bit thicker than what the standard, width of the tip was going to give me. And then doing your wing and winging it out to a really precise, just trails off into nothingness tip is very easy as well. I feel like I've tried so many black liquid liners, and I use them probably too much in comparison to other types of liners in my collection. So I went for this Green Spark shade, which I think is really pretty. And you may have noticed as the application was happening and it was still wet, it gave off a really metallic look. It does dry to a look that I won't say is matte. There's a little sheen to it, but in the end, your look on the liner is not super shiny, and it's less shiny than I expected, which I think is a really good thing. The thing that I struggle with sometimes with liners that have a sheen or shimmer to them, and wherever a shimmery liner catches the light, it can look almost like there's a gap in your liner there, or it might look kind of uneven. And here, the way it dried, it's not incredibly shimmery, so I feel like I'm getting some pretty consistent definition all the way across. It may not be quite as defined as the look I would get with a black liner, but I still feel like it's doing the job. And another fun way to use a color like this would be to maybe go ahead and line your upper lash line with a regular black liquid, and then just take this, the other day I did it over the outer part, and I kind of started in the middle and just topped off the wing. Or with a tip this skinny, you could easily do a little double wing, or something fun like that. The one downfall, like I said, is that it's not as long wearing as some of the other waterproof liners that I've tried. And that may not be much of a concern to some people who don't have watery eye issues or don't find themselves messing with their eyes very much throughout the day. But if that is a problem for you, the outer corners can just be a really hard place to keep products on. But if you can keep that area nice and dry, you're pretty much all good. So ultimately, who is this product for? I think if you feel like a lot of eyeliners out there are giving you a much thicker line than you're after, maybe you've got really small eyes and you always feel like eyeliner is taking up too much space on your eyelid and you want the finest thing possible, maybe you just even want to go with the classic black from this line. Or maybe you do want to get a little more creative with layering the eyeliners or doing some different things with winged liner. This allows you to do that very easily. But if staying power amid maybe sweat, watery eyes, you name it, is a concern for you and has been a problem for you in the past, I don't know that you'd have the best success with a product like this. So thanks for taking time to watch this review, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.